Hello everyone, my name is Chris, and in today's video I'm going to rank every single character based on how annoying they are to play against. Let's get started. And the first character we touch on today is going to be Tracer, and she has fallen down from an absolute S tier in Season 5 when we approached slow meta in Season 6 with Orisa, with Bastion, with Baptiste, where teams are just standing there and trying to outpoke each other. And you will find yourself in situations where you are trying to solo dive the enemy backline and they are playing something like Kiriko Lifeweaver. There is no way in the world you can do anything against players like that if they are on your level. So Tracer goes in a stone in a shoe B tier category. Bastion is an absolute S tier character and he just deals so much damage, and it is going to be dependent on your skill level and the role that you are playing. It feels like if you are the tank, Bastion goes in an S+, extremely annoying category, especially if you are going as Reinhardt or Zarya against an enemy Bastion and he's good enough to burst you down. Bastion goes in a very annoying category for everyone else. When we talk about frustration that I get when I'm playing versus Soldier, it is highly dependent on the skill level of the player I'm playing against. If this dude has spent years aim training and improving at FPS games, of course, this is going to be a very annoying character to play against, as he's going to helix and then full spray you without any problem, especially if you pair Soldier up with a Mercy Pocket. But for everyone else, for 95% of the player base, Soldier goes in an A, can be a very frustrating category. Widowmaker is going to be another very high skill ceiling character that's very much dependent on a person that's trying to utilize her. The fact that you can be an absolute menace and opponents will either have to go scary mode and hide away or peek and inevitably die. It's not the matter of whether they will die or not, it's the matter of when. So Widowmaker is an absolutely horrible character to play against, and she goes in a very annoying category above Bastion. Moira is a very noob-friendly character, but unfortunately there is not too much depth to her, as she lacks utility, especially when it comes to higher ranks. There are so many characters that do what she does, plus something extra. If you compare Moira and Ana, I would say that Moira is the literal food on the list here. When I'm playing 10 games against Zarya, 8 of them she's being completely useless for a few minutes and then she swaps to another tank, and there are a few games when I'm either playing against a Smurf or my team is just mindlessly charging the bubbles, and then Zarya goes from a stone in a shoe, a character that literally requires you to count to 2 as the amount of her bubbles to really defeat her, to a character that's full charging into your whole team, and there is nothing you can do to stop her. If she is in the range of her laser, you are probably dead if you don't have any escape mechanism. But for the sake of this video and for 95% of the player base, I'm gonna place her in a very frustrating category above Soldier. It feels like people have no idea how to play Sigma and when to play Sigma, especially when it comes to ranks below Masters, and you will quickly find yourself in a situation where you are just doing absolutely nothing against Dive, you are doing absolutely nothing against Brawl, and you are not doing absolutely anything against Rush when you are playing Sigma on a non-Sigma map. A quick reminder that a Sigma map is going to be Havana, Junkertown, or Circuit Royale, and outside of that you are literally food, especially if they are playing correct characters to counter you. Reinhardt is going to be a problem and will be a little bit annoying if only your team does not have the capacity to break the shield or he is completely dominating the enemy tank. Imagine a situation where you have Orisa in the meta that absolutely stomps Reinhardt. It is the hardest counter in the tank 1 versus 1, as there is just literally nothing you can do versus that character. Reinhardt can be annoying when he is charging in and you are not punishing him for the overaggression, as well as when you are mindlessly charging his shatter and he just goes in and shatters 3-4 of you. So I would say that he is a stone in a shoe, only if your team does not know how to play around that. Lucio is an absolute food character. I have never met a single good Lucio player that would be impactful. I've never met a single Lucio player that's going to carry the game for his tank and be useful. And I am playing in Mid-Masters, Grandmasters lobby. I would suspect that the character is just so difficult to utilize and really dependent on your team, and you only see him being utilized in a professional play. You want to play Lucio with Queen to speed her in and out of engage. You want to play Lucio with Ram. You want to play Lucio with Rain. Pretty much every single brawl tank. But in reality, people have no idea how to play with and against him. He's just complete food for the majority of the characters on this list. Sojourn is going to be another skill-dependent character, as if you are playing a guy who's like a skill tier above you in terms of his understanding of the game and mechanical side of his aim, you are going to suffer tremendously from Sojourn. Every single time you would pick, he's going to be at 100 charge because your tank is playing Orisa, Sigma, Reinhardt, pretty much everything that he would want to charge his right click off, and then you're gonna get railed, and especially if Sojourn is combined with the Mercy Pocket, she can be a deadly weapon in a very good person's hand. So I would place Sojourn in the very annoying tier below everyone else, as it is quite difficult to find value on her most of the time. D.Va is an absolute queen of verticality maps, as she dominates every single tank when you are going to play her in that scenario. Outside of that, she is a very mediocre character with no abilities that complements the geometry of the map. I personally find myself to be a very annoying D.Va player to play against. You can cancel so many ultimates, you can cancel so many kill confirms with your defensive matrix, and overall you are going to be a super annoying character to play against. It's really hard to kill you and demag you, and when you do, you always have your ultimate ready to really remag and then maybe go for a nice bomb and get a multiple kill with it. So I'm going to place D.Va in a very annoying category below Bastion. Brig is an absolute food character. As I've said earlier, Season 6 has brought us a brawl meta. It means that you have two tanks that are fighting face to face, and there is nothing you can do against Ramattra, there is nothing you can do against Orisa, there is nothing you can do against Reinhardt, as people are not playing Winston, people are not playing D.Va that much, people are just not playing Doomfist or Wrecking Ball, and when they do, they're getting absolutely devoured by your Orisa player. It is actually insane how useless you are on Brig outside of playing versus dive. So you are literal food. Her kit is not very annoying to play against, as she's just holding her shield and either dies or goes behind the corner. Cassidy is another character that goes in the food category, as I feel like they just nerfed him too much. When they decreased his range, I thought the character is going to be fine, but when I loaded up in the game, I realized that my boy Cassidy, that was an absolute menace in Season 3 and probably would be the most annoying character of Season 3, now has turned into an absolute piece of garbage. It is actually insane. He's horrible versus rush, he's horrible versus brawl, he's horrible versus dive, and there is no time and place you wanna play Cassidy, as there are always better options that have something more than just a very trash roll and then inability to kill anything outside of 35 meters range. I feel like Hanzo is a character that's either going to be hit or miss. You are either going absolutely ham. I played against a dude, he was a Hanzo Smurf, and I just... my whole team was suffering quite tremendously. His micro flicks were amazing, his positioning was great, and he was also mercy pocketed. But in reality, every single time you meet the Hanzo, 8 times out of 10 he's just going to be an absolute trash and completely useless, as it is very, very difficult to utilize his kit. So I would say that he's somewhere between literally food and can be frustrating, so I'm going to place him in a stone, in a shoe category. I feel like he's better than Tracer and Reinhardt due to the one-shot headshot potential, especially the lucky one. This is going to be a little bit controversial, but I absolutely don't feel like Mei is a very annoying character to play against. I absolutely don't feel like that she is an S-tier character in that regard. Yes, her wall is nice. Yes, her slow is really good, but in reality of the situation, you will rarely find situations where you will be able to outrange your opponents, as there are always gonna be a mercy pocketed Ashe that's just gonna coach gun away and shoot you from the distance, forcing you to use your icicle. There is going to be Baptiste with the lamp all the time, Orisa, you literally do nothing against that character, and then you need a brawl tank with you that understands how to utilize Mei plus like Orisa or Mei plus Reinhardt combination. So overall, she is going to be a very frustrating character. Orisa is going to be our first S+ character, as she is incredibly, and I repeat that, incredibly annoying to play against. Literal unkillable brick, and in reality, if you are a good Orisa player, you will quickly realize how to cycle your cooldowns in the manner of going for a spin and then pinning the person at the enemy backline to the wall and just completely obliterating him. You are unkillable, you are unstoppable, you are just absolutely great. When we talk about Baptiste, you have to understand that he is a very difficult character to use, and majority of the times you have e-girls on supports that never will be able to utilize the full potential of the character, and thus he's not going to feel as annoying as he feels in GM lobbies. Jesus Christ. The fact that Baptiste has so many abilities that literally benefit like every part of the game when it comes to like brawl comp, it is insane. He can damage, he can save, he can... It is crazy. Dude goes in a very frustrating category for sure. Wrecking Ball is another high skill ceiling character that really dependent on the person that's playing him. You can be literal food if you're just rolling around and doing nothing while your teammates are mindlessly fighting the 5 players, especially if your team has Orisa and Wrecking Ball is just rolling around doing nothing. But then you have like 0.1% players who are actually amazing at the character and they know answers to all the counters, but in reality you will never be able to meet them, as you'll never be able to climb that high. For 99.9% of the players who will play this game, it is the sad reality of the situation. So Wrecking Ball can be actually frustrating if only you don't know how to counter him. Zenyatta is very annoying when you are playing a tank against him. Zenyatta is very annoying when you are not diving him properly. Zenyatta is not very annoying when you are playing dive, and in reality of the situation right now, he is a very frustrating character, but sometimes you have Zen who's just running around doing nothing, and it's very easy to go for the kill onto him, as he has a massive hitbox. The problem with Zenyatta that there is a character that's so much better than him and does everything he does, and it's Illari, right? So Zenyatta can be annoying, but he goes in the bottom of A tier. I don't know about you, but I'm going to place Doomfist in the top of the very annoying category. This guy is so freaking bad when it comes to playing against him. It is absolutely insane. And it actually doesn't matter whether you are playing tank, DPS or a support. It feels like you are suffering like with the same amount on each and every role. As imagine I'm playing Orisa versus Doomfist and he is killing me and he's being annoying, not by killing me, as it is completely impossible to do so, but by killing my backline. And every single time I turn around there is one less player because the Doomfist is full charge for some reason and he just goes in and completely devours everyone alive. So yeah, Doomfist is a very annoying character. To be honest, when it comes to Echo, she is an absolute literal food, and it is not very annoying to fight against her, as She is an exceptionally difficult character to master, and players are just not ready to do it. They are not ready to sacrifice their time and fun to learning this character. They don't have the correct FPS or mechanical skill or understanding of the game, and thus Echo is going in a stone in a shoe category. You will stumble upon one player out of 10 who's going to give you trouble and be annoying on this character. In reality, that's just the top of the Echo annoyance potential. Ooh, Symmetra is going in a very annoying category as well. I feel like she's somewhere in the middle, as well as the fact that her ultimate is one of the best DPS ultimates in the game, as well as one of the most annoying for sure. The fact that you are playing a character that's very squishy and does not have an escape mechanism, such as, like, let's say Bastion, and for some reason Symmetra was able to cook her beam onto the full, you will quickly find yourself in a situation of big trouble. If you are playing D.Va into that, you are absolutely dead as well, and Sim is just a very annoying character to play against. I would place Pharah in the A tier, as I feel like sometimes you have players that are absolutely incredible on the character, and especially if you don't run double hit scan counter against that, and you will just find yourself in a situation where the Pharah Mercy combo is just super annoying and they do whatever they want, as you don't have the capacity to really counterplay them with the team that you have. Sometimes you have a Genji one trick and then the dude is like, no, I'm just gonna play Mei for some reason. Yeah, Pharah is going to be one of the most frustrating and annoying characters to play against in that regard. Ashe is another A tier character when it comes to annoyance and frustration that I feel. She can be exceptionally difficult to do anything against, especially in high ranks, and if she has the mercy pocket and you don't have it, Jesus Christ, like, character turns from the B tier in terms of her like value in a 5v5 scenario to an absolute S tier on certain maps. It is insane. And then you pair it up with a dude who has been aim training his whole life. Like, imagine he has like 10 years of FPS experience, like 2 years of Kovacs, like I personally do. This is a disaster to play against. You're just gonna get 2-tapped in a second every single time you are out of position. You're gonna get dynamited with damage boost. It is insane. Mercy is for sure one of the most annoying characters to play against. It is crazy how much I cry and whine when I'm playing versus Mercy. The fact that she turns a very mediocre hitscan DPS characters into insanely powerful ones, and the fact that she can really erase the mistake that you did on a DPS. Like, imagine I am playing Widowmaker and I am getting a kill, like a very nice shot onto Ashe, and I'm like, yo, let's push, and the dude just reses him, and you're like, what am I even doing here? It is insane. And then her movement, it's pretty difficult to hit her off in the air, and just a disaster and a half. S+ tier, extremely annoying. Genji is going in a B tier. He is a stone in a shoe, just a very bad character overall, and requires insane amounts of teamwork and follow-up in order to be like really mediocre and average in terms of his value potential. The fact that you are dependent on your second DPS to deal insane amounts of damage so you can shift and go for the snowball effect is just insane. You are playing around your blade, and yeah, Nano Blade Genji is pretty annoying, but in reality you get that 1 or 2 times in a game, and they are sacrificing Nano Orisa or they are sacrificing Nano other DPS by you are just mindlessly farming the blade. So he goes in the B tier for now. I have never met a single good Junkrat player in this game. I know that there are dudes in top 500 who are extremely annoying, but for 95% of the player base, this is just an absolute food. Yes, you can get spammed in a lucky manner, but then you take a character that's either a flying character or a character with superior range to the Junkrat, and boom, he goes from very annoying to a character that wants to cry and calls mommy to save him. Reaper is another food character. I don't know, character is just horrible in the current meta. Gets outranged by pretty much every single DPS character. Pretty easy to counter, and you don't have really good tank matchups against you, as like who are you going to kill with it? In reality, very broad shoulders and very big model, so very easy to hit you, and playing Reaper is going to be your worst nightmare when you are against Ashe, when you're against Soldier, when you're against Widowmaker and other characters. Roadhog is a stone in the shoe. It's actually very interesting how I'm placing him above characters who are below, as he's still a threat, and if you are not careful enough, he is going to hook you closer to his team and completely devour you alive. There are combinations, like one-shot combinations with Roadhog, and then if they are not playing Ana, you are free to heal anytime you want. So it's a stone in the shoe category character, but still pretty annoying from time to time. This is very counterintuitive, but Torbjorn goes in an extremely annoying category. The fact that he got so buffed and his power shifted from his turret onto his left click. Oh, Jesus Christ. The fact that he is the fastest shooting projectile character. Okay, the fastest, like the highest DPS shooting projectile character in the game for sure is just insane. You can double dink anyone from any range if they are a squishy character, and your Molten Core is super annoying to play against, especially if the enemy Torbjorn knows how to use it properly and he spills it all over the place instead of going for one spot. You are just completely cooked in that regard. Winston is another dive character that got hit super hard by the meta. I feel like he's a stone in a shoe. Super difficult to utilize, requires follow-up, as you would usually play something like Bastion and Soldier, and Winston is not great with these DPS characters. You need Ana in order to be a human being, not a monkey, and it is like character is just bad overall. Ana goes in the middle of very annoying category, as she can literally turn around fights with purple. You are very annoying when you are playing against the enemy tank, as you have the potential to punish him for overcommitment that he is going for. Especially it's present in lower ranks where the dude's literally walking, never getting punished simply because you don't have an anti-nade onto him, because you are playing like a lower level support like Brig. Imagine you're playing Illari Brig. What a waste that would be. The fact that you can sleep targets and that's gonna be a free kill onto the squishy. The fact that you can nano and it turns your tank from a dude that got hit by the truck into a person that's a truck. It's just making Ana an insane choice. Sombra is another stone in the shoe category character, as every single time you see Sombra on your team, you understand that you will lose the game, because the dude is gonna run around for 4 minutes and have 700 damage. This is literally me every time I am playing with Sombra on my team. I'm like, well, yeah, nice. Well, she's decent against like Doomfist and can be pretty annoying into that, but in reality, there are just better options in today's day and age. Junkrat sometimes can be a frustrating character to use. I would place her in the middle of A tier, as sometimes, especially paired up with Kiriko, she can abuse corners and be absolutely unkillable. I've had situations where 3 of my teammates are staying on a payload and they literally cannot do anything against the Junkrat, as she is constantly going for an axe, and then she hits knives, and then she is very accurate with her like shotgun, and Jesus Christ, her ultimate is pretty annoying as well. Kiriko is another very annoying character to play against, as her ability to double tap you with kunais, her ability to cleanse pretty much every single negative effect in the game. Imagine you are going for a massive Illari ult onto 3 people and you thinking that you'll be able to absolutely devour them alive in a second, and then dude throws one ability and completely counters everything you just did. Like, what the hell was that? Imagine you're going for the grab onto 3 people and then they all got cleansed. Or you are playing something like D.Va and you are trying to assassinate the enemy backline and Kiriko just TPs in, cleanses, and Jesus Christ. I feel like Ramattra is a stone in a shoe in today's day and age because he has a very bad 1 versus 1 versus Orisa, he is struggling against Torbjorn, he's struggling against Bastion, and there is just nothing you can do on this character to really have any value. I would suspect that Ramattra is the same tier as Roadhog in today's day and age, as he's just very bad versus like the absolute meta characters. His ultimate can be annoying, but there are so many characters with escape. It's really easy to LOS him, it's really easy to get out of the range, and that is just, yeah, character is really bad. It's very interesting, but playing against a good Lifeweaver can be super duper annoying. The fact that he can life grip a person that's close to death and would be dead if there would be another support character. The fact that you have so much heal and your Tree of Life is a really nice ultimate. You can use your platform to like get your supports up the high ground. You can use the platform to give your DPS character another angle. You can lift the whole team onto the high ground. Is super duper valuable. Character is very annoying to play against, and as we are entering like a slow brawl kind of scenario in terms of our meta, character is just shining brighter than he ever was. Imagine dude had 41% in win rate in season 5. And Larry goes in an absolute S tier. This character is super freaking annoying to play against. Is that a support character, or Overwatch developers just accidentally put her in that category and she should be a DPS? Like, the only support thing about her is her passive heal onto herself. Other than that, she's just a nice flanker with the ability to use her captive sun and just completely devour everyone alive. So this is going to be today's list. Let me know in the comment section what do you think about all of that. See you in the next one. Take care.